Hello and welcome to Connect, the weekly podcast of the California MBA featuring one-on-one interviews with movers and shakers in the mortgage industry. I'm Susan Milazzo, CEO of the California MBA, and I'm very happy that you could join us today. Before we get to today's guest, I'd like to thank our 2023 President's Council sponsors. Now, these are a handful of companies that provide an incredible amount of financial support for our association to really help us maintain our strong advocacy efforts for the real estate finance industry in California. I'd like to thank AmeriHome, Arch MI, Consolidated Analytics, Accelerate, Funding Shield, Guild Mortgage, Rocket Mortgage, and Western Alliance Bank. Thank you all so much for your support throughout 2023. And with that, I'll turn to today's guest. I'm very happy to welcome one of my old friends in the mortgage industry to the Connect podcast today. Welcoming Justin Vedder, who's Managing Director of Residential Solutions for SitusAMC. Justin, hi there.
Hi there, how are you, Susan? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing fine. I was thinking as we were getting ready for this, we've known each other for a while through different roles in the industry, and it's great to reconnect with you now that you are at Situs.
Absolutely, absolutely. And thank you for everything you do for the state of California industry as a whole. I appreciate all you do.
Thank you. So I always like to get started with everybody's background, and if you want to share with us a little bit about your background and how you got into the mortgage business.
Sure, very straightforward. I was born to be a mortgage banker. I went to elementary school for it.
You're the one that was born to be a mortgage banker.
I just woke up. No, it's not me. I actually started in the industry by default, as every podcast person has ever started their podcast or a discussion with somebody who asked them how they found the mortgage industry. It found me, I didn't find it. So it's a funny story though. I was in summer after playing Canadian football in the summer, and I came home in August and I go, Mom, I need a job. She was a real estate agent then, and she goes, well, I know this group up in Long Beach, and we're looking for loan officers. Let me ask them, I know the owner. I went up there and I said, I don't know what you guys are doing. At the time they were saying 125% loans, and crazy loans now to think of what they were doing then. But I went up there, and first month I made more than I made probably in the whole season in Canadian Football League, which I wasn't making much because I wasn't that good, but I wasn't making much. I said, oh my God, this industry is great. That's how it all got started. And I went on to, start ran production for the company. I went on to work with my mom, who started a company called Platinum Data Solutions, which is AVM and AMC that was ultimately bought by CoreLogic. I went in and I met a guy in Northern California who I will remain nameless, but he taught me a lot about the industry. He taught me about the legal side of it, taught me about operations side of it, and taught me about how to look at loans from a fraud perspective and things like that. From there, it just grew into, I fell in love with insurance, and I ventured off. That's why I say I'm a mortgage guy first and an insurance guy second. But it's been a great experience, just getting in the industry. I love it. It's the biggest small pond in the world, I call it. I know so many people have been so supportive of everything I do, and it's likewise. It's just such a good network of people in the industry. So that's it. I've gone to it.
They are a good group, that's for sure. I know when I first started working for this association as a consultant, I felt the same way. I'm like, I just, these are good. It's a good group of people, and I wanted to do more with them. So I was grateful for that opportunity. But you bring a unique professional perspective to the Connect podcast in that you are a working professional who has Parkinson's. So can you share with our listeners kind of what, the challenges and fears that you navigate on a personal level?
Well, interesting as we started off this call saying it's live. I was moving so much. I'm like, well, wait a second. I have to deal with it. I just have to be that way. So anyway, I'm a little shaky today. I feel a Parkinson's joke. I'm doing well. No, it's been interesting because when I first got diagnosed, I really thought my life was over. I thought I wasn't going to have nowhere to go. I thought it was like, my wife and I were so depressed. And luckily, a guy by the name of Rick Wedge came and grabbed me out of my room one day. Literally went through my house. My wife said, he's upstairs, leave him alone, he's sleeping. I went upstairs and said, get off your butt, stop feeling sorry for yourself, and go. I bought you a gym membership. He grabbed me, I literally grabbed my shirt and said, you're going with me. And I put my shoes on, I thought he was going to kill me, really. And so that taught me to persevere, just to fight every moment of every day. And so that's what I do. I continue to fight. And so you can easily get depressed about it and everything else, but 9 years ago, I thought I was done, and I'm 9 years later. I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm out meeting customers at conferences, et cetera. I'm traveling, doing everything
Yeah,
I always wanted to do. And so my word of advice to anyone would be, don't give up, never quit. You know, I mean, you can have a great life even with a disability. So,
right.
and another thing I want to say is the industry's been so good to me. My friends, Mike Fontaine, Bill Loman, all those guys have been so good to me and supported me through all this. And mortgage friends are best friends because we all go through the same stuff every day. When it comes to personal things, don't be afraid to tell people. Don't be afraid to reach out to them. They'll always be able to help you. I guarantee it. So that's I don't know, that's all I got to say about it.
No, that's a great message, and as I say, I've known you for a long time, and you are an inspiration, dealing with the challenges that you have personally, and in this crazy business on top of it. I mean, that's a testimony to your fortitude. So congratulations to you, Justin, and thank you for sharing that. Getting back to the mortgage industry a bit, what can you tell us about SitusAMC and what you offer mortgage bankers?
Let me first tell you, we're not an AMC, not appraisal management. It's a question I get all the time. You just have an AMC? No, it's American Mortgage Consultants, I think was the original name. And they've had a long history of working in the securitization or capital markets arena. And then they merged with Situs, which really brought a commercial and servicing side of the business. Now, and we bought maybe 12, 15 companies over the last 18 months to really fulfill our full end-to-end from, basically broker. We have Ready Price, who does the front end stuff with Rick Suklis, all the way through the back end of servicing and securitization. So we offer, I'm selling the fulfillment services all the time to lenders, and we'll get to that in a moment. But we can offer a lot. We're a very stable company. I know we're diversified. We're capable. We have offshore teams. We have onshore teams. We really bring a lot to the table to anybody looking to outsource, or we own Mountain View. We bought Mountain View for BPO trades or MSR trades. We have a valuation company, et cetera. So all these things together really create. I think Situs is probably the littlest known company in the industry in terms of our depth and breadth of products offered in the industry. So I encourage anyone, reach out to me or any other person you know at SitusAMC. Happy to send you a presentation of all the things we do. I would have a 4-hour podcast if I went through everything. But anyway, so that's the gist of why.
I know that name is a bit confusing, but thank you for clarifying that. I know that Situs does provide a wide range of services. So, certainly, 2023 has been a challenging year, and certainly a year when lenders are looking to manage expenses in any way possible. So can you talk with us a little bit about why lenders should utilize offshore fulfillment teams?
Because I'm here. Kidding. No, kidding. No. So in a year when lenders are, getting pummeled last 6 to 12 months, I spent a lot of time talking to lenders, getting out and talking to CEOs, CFOs, et cetera. I think the most popular phrase I heard was, the CFO's running the company now, or I heard, and I'm sick of laying off people. And, that was horrible. I know I sat with a couple of lenders, the recent independent mortgage bankers conference down in San Diego, and they just gone through cuts, and that's the most painful thing you can do.
Yeah, gosh.
It's horrible. I mean, I've been through them before. We've all been through them, but it can be real challenging for a lender. So what we bring to the table is an outsourced team. They can basically get, most of them are cut to the bone today now, to the very bare minimum of what they have as far as a core group. But it's got to come back at some point. But the volatility in the market really creates an opportunity to outsource it at a variable cost model to SitusAMC. We do everything from indexing the setup to underwriting, shadow underwriting, we license underwriting, we do pre-close audit, we do post-close audit, we do everything under the sun, pretty much in the origination process. So a lot of lenders come to us to say, hey, I want to outsource. How can I cut my cost by 25 to 45%? That's the average savings we see on a lender, 25 to 45%. Who wouldn't like 25 to 45% back in their hands, or ability to expand the business or buy another branch or whatever they're doing, whatever their expansion plans are? We're here for them to support that.
Right.
And so we can become an outsource. Now, we don't see that biggest savings unless you start to really outsource a great portion of it. It's like economies of scale, right? The more you outsource, the more you receive in terms of lower costs and efficiencies. Because as we become more efficient, we're like a mortgage banker, but we won't work for the mortgage banker. or the backbone of the company. So the other thing I want to say is, a lot of times people are fearful of working with India or Malaysia or anywhere else they're working with outsourced people. These people are very talented people. They're very knowledgeable. They understand. They're fluent in mortgage banking. They understand the business, probably better than I do sometimes. I mean, I swear to God, they know the guidelines sometimes better than I do. They're ever changing, but they're on top of it. So that's another thing. A lot of people are scared about the language barrier, et cetera. Don't be afraid of that. I worked with them for years. They're phenomenal. It's amazing what they do. Phenomenal work. And so I'd say just trust. You got to learn to trust. Those who trust in the process do the best. Those who are skeptical about it, they're setting themselves up for failure.
And how does, I mean, there are other, lenders are for sure looking for ways to, cut expenses this year. How does Situs set themselves apart from competitors?
I would say stability, expertise, and depth. Stability first would be that they've been around for 30 years. In this industry for a long time. We diversified and brought in a commercial arm. We brought in a tech company. We brought in the origination side of the business, residential side of the business. We have a very diversified business, and we have staying power in the industry. So I'd say the expertise would be second, because we have a great team here. Has over, I don't get mad if I say over 500 years or 900 years, whatever it is of experience. So a very experienced origination, front end fulfillment team. And also the depth of the company. We have, I think we're up to 5,000 to 6,000 people. So we are now. We have plenty of people, offshore and onshore, about split half and half. So pretty big teams. So I would say those are the three things that I would focus on when you're looking at any client. I know some of our vendors have been hit hard lately. Some of our competitors have been hit hard. And I'm not cheering for anyone going out of business, but some of them are having a hard time right now because of the drop in the market and the volumes, et cetera. So we have great technology, we have great resources, we have great people. And so that's why I would choose SitusAMC over anyone else.
Well, that's it sounds like you guys have a great solid base, and you're providing some very needed services in the industry this year. So always happy to be talking with Situs. And Situs has been a big supporter of the California MBA through a wide variety of things, not only membership, but you participate in some of our conferences and whatnot. And for that, of course, we are very grateful. Can you share with us a little bit about why Situs chooses to support our organization?
Because you, Susan, that's it. No, Susan, no, you're a part of that, Susan. You are. It really has grown. I mean, it's a big state, right? But it's also, you've done a great job with the groups. I mean, it's one of the West-run conferences. Everybody would agree with that, I'm sure. Having Ike as president now, Mike Fontaine, Bill Lohman, all the people you mentioned before, John Hedlund, all those guys are very talented guys. Every time they speak, I want to listen. So being a part of, I think we all listen to those people because there are kind of mentors or guides in the industry, and I'm getting some gray hair, but they're still a little bit older than me. So they've always mentored, and I think it's a great place for people to learn the business. And I think we're going to be a little shortage of underwriters, we're going to be shortage of processors if it ever got back to where it was in terms of volume in the past. So this is a great place to get your foot in the door and understand the business, et cetera, as well as leveraging the MBA. But just locally, it's been great to have the Western Secondary every year. I always look forward to that. And, obviously any risk summits and other things you have are fantastic. So anyway, I appreciate everything you do, Susan, and the CMBA does.
Well, thank you, Justin. I appreciate that. We are pretty fortunate to have some amazing leaders in our board of directors. So thank you for giving those wonderful guys a shout out. And thank you so much for being a guest on Connect. It's been great.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
And thanks to all of you for joining us on Connect podcast today. To access any of our past episodes, you can follow us on our YouTube channel. We're also available on SoundCloud, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. That's it for this week, and we'll see you next time on Connect.